Hey everybody, this is Devin. In this project, Project 3, we're going to be looking at ransomware. And what's helpful before we begin coding our own ransomware to use to victimize a notional entity is to know how ransomware actually works from a cryptographic standpoint. And we're going to be using OpenSSL just to show you a simplistic sequence of events that may or may not happen. They generally follow this order, but there may be a couple of tweaks here and there depending on the malware manufacturer. So here you see my Ubuntu LAN system, and I have a directory called attacker and another one called victim. So I want you to use your imagination here to consider that the attacker is on one system and the victim's on another. But I'm going to be copying files back and forth between the attacker and the victim, just kind of abstracting the way that keys and material get between attacker and victim. So the victim usually has a resource that they want to protect. So let's do that. So we'll create a document. So that document is terribly important to the victim, and they're willing to pay through the nose to recover it in case it were to get lost. So this all involves cryptography. So open source crypto algorithms, public key algorithms, as well as traditional symmetric key algorithms do play a role. So let's see how this might go. So the attacker is going to do something first. They're going to create a key pair, a public-private key pair. So the public pair, if you don't remember, the public pair is usually public part of the pair is usually used for encryption operations, right? And the private is for decryption or for signing, right? So let's take a look. Okay, so we're going to create a 2040-bit private key. And in this file, this hacksaw.pem, the public key is also embedded. So we need to make sure that we don't give this entire key file to the victim, because they can just thumb their nose at us and go ahead and decrypt it if they know what they're doing. So what we need to do is extract the public key from this file. So let's take a look at the file right now. Okay, so here's the private key. The public key in this case in a PIM file is embedded in here. We're just going to yank that out. So this is how we extract it. So OpenSSL, use the RSA algorithm, public out. We're going to send the public key out. We're going to suck in hacksaw.pem, the public and private key pair. And then the resulting file is going to be called hacksaw.pub. So we can cat hacksaw.pub, and we can see that indeed it is a public key. So the attackers extracted the public key. And the idea is that the public key goes to the victim. Somehow it gets there. The victim has some malware. The malware goes out to a secure website and pulls this down. But for purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to copy it over. I'm just going to copy it like that. I could also use just the copy command, I suppose. So the victim the victim has this public key available. Now, this also might be a memory, right? It's possible that it was pulled by the malware and it's a variable in some malicious code, but we're just going to have it right there. It does no harm. So what's going to occur? So the public key is not really suitable in and of itself for bulk encryption, for encrypting lots of large files, because the beauty of public and private key pairs is the key exchange, not the efficiency in encryption. So the idea is that you use a public key to encrypt relatively small bits of information, like, for instance, a symmetric key. So we're going to create a symmetric key. So let's see what that actually looks like. So that's what it looks like. But what I want to do is I want to take the results of that operation, stick it in a variable, a bash variable, right? Somewhat like a programming variable, like a C++ variable, like a C string. Okay, so I'm going to echo clear. Hold on, let me go back. Let's do this again. I need to put it in there. So here's the command, but I'm going to do something like this. So clear key equals $, and we'll put all that in a bracket. Now, if I do something like this, you have the variable. Now that variable in and of itself exists only in memory. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this clear key variable and we're going to encrypt. We're going to create a symmetric key. Okay, so this is what's going on. We're taking that value. The clear key is the clear text representation of a symmetric key that we're later going to use to encrypt that document file. We're taking that clear key and we're encrypting it and dropping the results of that encryption in a file called symmetric.enc. So we've done that. So now we have a variable called clear key, and we're going to use that to encrypt a file. Let's do that. So we do have a file here. We have the super important .docx file. And the idea is we're going to encrypt it, giving it a new file name, and then we'll delete the original, right? Giving us control over the victim, right? So OpenSSL. There's a longer command. AES 256 cipher blockchain mode. We're going to suck in that important document and send out an encrypted variant. We're going to encrypt it using AES, using a password. Now that password happens to be the contents of ClearKey. Okay, so this warning is just saying, hey, I could have used a more secure algorithm. It would have been better, but I still encrypted and the user is in trouble. So what can we do now? So we have this super important encrypted file. Let's delete the original. And if you recall, we still have this clear text variant of the key in memory. We need to blow that away, right? So we can do something like this: clear key equals not a darn thing. And if I do that command again, nothing comes back. So I've cleaned up, right? So the victim tries to go to their CD-ROM archive to see if they can recover that file. But finally, after tearing their hair out and lots of tears and recriminations, they decided to pay the ransom. Right? This is how it works. So they've gotten in contact with the attacker, right? The ransom holder, and they have paid them money, right? So the attacker has verified that their account is now a couple $1,000s greater than it was once before. And now what the victim's going to do in this case, and it may vary a little bit, they're going to pass the encrypted representation of the symmetric key back to the attacker. And the attackers, hopefully, the attacker is going to decrypt it and give them their key back, right? So let's give this a go. CP symmetric.inc, and I'm just going to copy it back to the attacker. Okay, so I'm on the attacker side. Here I am. There's symmetric.inc, and I want to decrypt that. So OpenSSL. We'll use the RSA utility again. We'll decrypt. The symmetric key comes in. The private key that I never let leave my system is invoked. And here is the clear text. Let's see what I did wrong. Wait one moment. Oh, yeah, hexor.temp. Wrong one. Boom. All right, so again, the private key, not the public key. So there's the clear text key, the original one. So again, the attacker verifies that they got the money from the victim, and now they're going to transfer this key back to the victim in hope, and the victim will hope that they can decrypt their document. So CP, clear key, back to the victim. I'm on the victim. And there's my clear key that I've received from the attacker. And now I'm going to use it to decrypt that document that I want so much. So OpenSSL, AES 256, CBC, the decrypt flag. We'll pass in the encrypted variant. We'll send back out the original document. And we're going to use a file this time. Remember last time we used the contents of memory, right? Same warning, but the victim has their document back. There it is. So that, in a nutshell, is how ransomware works, how the attacker is using a security tool, encryption, right, for nefarious purposes. Your goal during this project is to work with your teammate and come up with another mechanism to essentially do the same thing using the programming language and libraries of your choice. You can do this on Windows, you can do this on Linux, you can use whatever programming language that you want, so long as it's not just a regurgitation of what I showed you today. So I wish you luck on this project. Bye now.